have spoken about the relationship between dog worship and narcissism in many of my videos, and it is a subject that I want to return to now. Since it is some time since I spoke specifically and at length about narcissism, I think that it is now time to revisit the subject. The purpose of this video is slightly different in that I want to offer a simple and effective technique for dealing with narcissistic and entitled dog owners when you come across them. Approximately a year ago, I produced a video entitled "Dog Worshippers Use Virtue Signaling to Gain Status." This video is a follow-on to that video, examining how our reactions to the public displays of dog worshippers provides them with narcissistic supply. If you want to hear more about dog worshippers and narcissism, watch two of my videos from approximately 2 years ago entitled "Dog Lovers and Narcissism" and "Narcissistic Rage Revenge Mechanisms of Dog Lovers." In everyday speech, we may refer to someone as a narcissist or narcissistic, when we actually mean that they are a bit vain. Wanting to look good and taking care of your appearance are parts of a perfectly normal, everyday lifestyle. From now on, when I mention narcissism, I don't mean mild vanity. I mean something entirely different. Narcissism, in a pathological sense, has a number of common features. Not all malignant or pathological narcissists will display all of them. An additional point that I need to clarify here is that I am not suggesting that all dog owners are narcissists. The dog owners who I suggest display narcissistic characteristics are the extremist dog worshippers who live their lives through dogs and hold dog lives above human lives. WebMD provides a brief list of characteristics common to narcissistic behavior. Other sites will provide slightly different lists, but the core features are there. WebMD lists the following: sense of entitlement, manipulative behavior, need for admiration, lack of empathy, and arrogance. Dog extremists have a sense of entitlement. They believe that rules do not apply to them or their dogs. Rules are for other people, not them. They constantly manipulate and control situations for the benefit of them and their dog, and dogs in general. We see examples of this in their tendency to blame victims of dog attacks for their own predation. They lie. They invent fake facts. If you go to the Reddit page "Dog Free, We Don't Like Dogs," you will read story after story about dog extremists trying to control and manipulate the world to their advantage and the advantage of dogs. Dog extremists live for admiration. Their description of dogs as displaying unconditional love for them betrays this fact. They will tell us that dogs never judge. Only a person who lives for admiration would value unconditional love and an inability to judge in the way that dog worshippers do. We are judged throughout our lives. That's how we develop new skills. Expecting or demanding unconditional love is the mindset of the tyrant who is never wrong. Allied with the need for admiration is the inability to accept advice or criticism. The narcissist constantly yearns for approval and affirmation. We have seen how narcissistic dog owners lack empathy. In my videos, I have shown that dog worshippers have a truly shocking lack of compassion for victims of dog attacks. Disfigured and disabled children become figures of ridicule and fun. Families mourning a death by dog are intimidated by the presence of pit bull advocates protesting their perceived persecution. In my video entitled Pit Bulls, Fake News, and Duper's Delight, I showed a clip of Leedy Van Cavage, senior legislative attorney for Best Friends Animal Society. When she was discussing the death of baby Daxton, she let slip an unconscious mannerism called Duper's Delight, in which a liar, enabler, or apologist lets slip a smile or a sneer when they have said something outrageous and think that they have got away with it. They are signaling their contempt and lack of empathy for the victim. The final feature listed in the WebMD site is arrogance. Narcissists see themselves as superior to everyone else. Your annoyance or distress at their behavior means nothing to them because they regard you and your opinions as inferior to theirs. They will quickly become rude and abusive when disagreed with. It's their opinions that count, not yours. We see this with the willingness of dog worshippers to issue insults and threats in response to our logical arguments. Our logical arguments count for nothing because they know better. We will be told that we are mentally disturbed or stupid. They may issue death threats because someone hurt the feelings of a dog by objecting to being bitten or having their sleep disturbed. Above all, narcissists have a need for admiration. Central to this need for admiration is a process referred to as narcissistic supply. Narcissistic supply refers to anything that provides a source of attention, approval, adoration, admiration, etc. for the narcissist. The attention they receive from the supply source is vital for their survival. Narcissistic supply can be anything that boosts their sense of self-worth. Narcissistic supply can be praise and admiration, but it can also be power, control, love, and attention. Some narcissists can tap into negative sources of supply, gaining satisfaction from people's anger or satisfaction at having tricked someone or humiliated them. Addictive substances and behaviors can also provide supply. Narcissists can socialize with other narcissists and act as each other's source of supply, not only by praising each other, but by working together to exclude and marginalize others. Narcissists will use their dog as a form of supply. Their belief that the dog loves them is a form of supply, but they can use the dog in a variety of ways to garner positive and negative attention. Any kind of attention provides supply to a narcissist. A convenient way to describe this is to illustrate it using a recent personal experience. Approximately 2 weeks ago, I was visiting my local health unit. When I got there, I saw a man standing by the doors to the building with a huge pit bull. He had it on a leash, which looked very much like the leash you see in this picture. It consisted of a very thick coiled ship's rope. It was thicker than the rope you see here. I'd say it was about 2 inches thick, about as thick as you see in this image. I'm not sure how it was attached to the dog's collar, but clearly his goal was to show everyone what a big, strong dog he has and what a big, strong man he is. Conveying an air of strength and menace would provide him with narcissistic supply and make him feel that he is a powerful individual. People showing fear of him and his dog would also provide supply, as would people admiring his dog, as would people complaining about him blocking the way into the health unit. He would thrive on bullying and arguing with anyone who complains. If his dog starts to bark, growl, or lunge at people, then that also provides supply. Just as all mammals need a constant supply of oxygen, narcissists need a constant supply of whatever gives them attention, admiration, and self-worth. There is never enough supply. If you want narcissistic supply, there are a number of ways that you can use a dog as a prop. Dress your dog up and you draw attention to yourself and the dog. Buy an unusual and expensive dog and you gain praise for being discerning and affluent. Buy a very small dog that looks like a toy and bask in the reflected praise, or take a very underage puppy out for a walk. You are guaranteed to get attention. A dog with a disability makes you look caring and compassionate. Tell people you rescued the dog and you are a hero. Take a smelly, noisy, or aggressive dog into a public place and you get plenty of attention. Allow your dog to lie over a doorway and you have control of entry and exit, with the added benefit of occasional arguments. Carry your dog into dog-free places and argue that you have a disability that you really don't have, or that your dog is sick and can't be left alone. Play the sympathy card for all it is worth. Cover as much of the sidewalk as possible with you, your dog, and the leash. Extending leashes can be used to very good effect to irritate and inconvenience people. When people are ignoring you and your dog, or not paying enough attention, have a loud, passive-aggressive conversation with your dog about the nasty man or woman. Post photos of your dog on social media platforms for totally unrelated interests. Present yourself and your dog as victims of discrimination when you are expected to adhere to the rules of society like everybody else. Call people out as racists because they are frightened of your pit bull. I could go on, but I'll stop there. We all know that dogs provide a powerful narcissistic supply, and it may be disheartening to consider that almost anything dog-related can provide narcissistic supply. It can also be disheartening to realize that narcissistic dog owners cannot be reasoned with or argued with. They are not going to respond to logic. The good news is that they do have a fatal weakness. Their addiction to attention can be used against them. It is very simple to deny them supply. The solution is to do nothing. Just do nothing. If they are trying to draw attention to themselves, then don't look. If you have to walk past them, look to the side of them into the middle distance. Doing nothing is hard at first, particularly if you feel angry. But remember, they will feed off of your anger, and it will give them sustenance. There is a system called the gray man theory that is used by special forces, survival experts, and surveillance operatives. It is the art of blending into a crowd, of not drawing attention to yourself. The more you practice doing nothing with dog narcissists, the easier it becomes. The gray man theory means that they will stop identifying you as someone who cares about dogs or who is going to provide them with supply. If you try too hard to ignore them or look critical, you still provide supply. As regular viewers will know, I used to be a dog owner and thought that I loved dogs until I saw the light. Since I recognized that narcissistic dog owners crave my attention, I was able to stop giving it to them, and I go about my daily business ignoring needy dog owners. I have even noticed that some people take a lead from me. If I walk past a deliberately cutesy dog as if it doesn't exist, then others are less likely to stop and make a fuss. Not all dog owners are narcissists, and some do listen to reason. The thing about narcissistic dog owners is that they are easy to spot with their look at me behavior, and because of that, they are easy to ignore. Depriving them of supply is like depriving a fish of water. It causes them distress. When more and more people stop giving them the attention they so desperately crave and need, then we have a chance of making the future pet-free.